Okay, let's go over section 5.3. I get a lot of questions a lot of times regarding disjunctive normal form and conjunctive normal form. So I'm going to go through some examples identifying whether an expression is DNF, which is disjunctive normal form, or CNF on it. So the first one being that it is disjunctive normal form, this is what you did in the previous section where you were doing some products inside of Unit 3, where you were writing them as each individual statements where they were ANDed together and grouped together with an OR. So the products there are your AND statements and the plus representing your OR statements. If you can rewrite it as a sum product, you're good to go with it being DNF or disjunctive normal form. So the key is complement only applies to a single variable. You can't have a bar over an entire x plus y and then negate the whole entire thing. You could apply De Morgan's law to get it in that format. However, if it's written with a bar over the entire top, that is not DNF, and you're going to see that in one of the examples here coming up. So no addition within inside of a single term. So if it was grouped together inside of parentheses, that's also going to cause it to fail as well. So let's look at some examples here. The first one, group together XY, group together W naught. They're joined together by an OR. That is definitely disjunctive normal form. Number two, the bar is over the top of both X or Y. As written, this is not DNF. You could apply De Morgan's law to convert it to DNF. However, for this particular guy, as written, you cannot complement or negate the entire expression that way. That is the culprit why it's causing that one to be not DNF on it. Three, single terms, that's legitimate. That's perfectly fine to be DNF. So you've got the single X, the single Y, single Z, and they're grouped together by ORs. That's perfectly fine. Number four is also legitimate as well. It can be a product or an AND statement between those as a single term. There is no additional grouping to that other than they are ANDed together or product together. You're good to go with that being DNF. Number five, the parentheses there, notice on the inside you have an OR statement. That cannot occur as far as the grouping there as written because of that being inside the parentheses joined together by an OR statement, which is not a single literal in that case. So that is not DNF in that instance. For conjunctive normal form, it's the exact opposite. You're doing the ORs on the groupings and they are joined together by AND. So you're doing it the exact opposite. We're doing a 180 on this. So you'll notice as an example, they're joined together by ORs, joined together by ORs or the plus, single term, that's legitimate as well, joined together by ORs, and the parentheses puts it AND together. So the inside is the OR, the outside is the AND on it. So complement only applies to single variable. We will actually see one where it's actually product together, but it only has to a single variable applied to it. But you'll notice the format, grouped together by an OR on the inside, parentheses to AND them together. So the first one, it is not CNF in this case because the XY is the culprit there because they are not added together on the inside of the parentheses. That product or the X and Y is what's causing that to fail to be not conjunctive normal form. First grouping on number two, X or Y or Z, that's fine as written. The second grouping, W naught or Y naught, again, that grouping's fine and they're joined together by parentheses to make it an AND condition. That is legitimately CNF or conjunctive normal form. The third one, X or Y, notice the bar over the top. That is what's causing that to fail. You can only complement or negate single literal terms. You cannot do it over the whole enchilada there. You can't do it over the entire thing. That's what, on that piece right there that I'm pointing to, that is the culprit causing that to fail to be not conjunctive normal form. This one's fine. You got X or Y or Z. That's your first grouping. Technically, there's a set of parentheses over W naught. That is your second grouping. The first grouping is ORed. The second one is single term, didn't require an additional OR, and they're joined together by an AND. So that is conjunctive normal format. This guy technically has a set of parentheses around X or Y or Z. It's not written because it's just one grouping in that instance. Again, is conjunctive normal form. Now, number 6 looks a little confusing. We kept on saying, okay, not products, but this is one respective literal. If it's one respective literal, you can get away with it being conjunctive normal format. If this guy introduced some plus to it, like a plus Z at the end, it fails being conjunctive normal format. It's kind of one of those exceptions to the rule, just like in the English language, we've got so many goofy rules relative to other, Western civilization languages out there. But this, because of the fact of it being one literal, being the product of 3 clauses, once I introduce a plus or an or, this guy would fail in a heartbeat. But as written, this guy is truly conjunctive normal format. Hope this helped via the explanations. There's great things on Khan Academy that also talks about DNF and CNF. Encourage you to take a look at those as well to see some additional practice that's out there. So thanks.